So we went yesterday to this yoga studio. It's called the Be Brave Yoga. This yoga studio is owned by this beautiful yogi named Nirvana Devi, and she turned this place, not a great looking building, and made it into a very welcoming, sacred place where people feel very welcome and looks amazing. There is beautiful deities of Lakshmi Devi and Buddha, nice artwork. And she's starting it this Monday, and it started with this big bang of having, I think, 70 or so people in her yoga studio chanting and dancing for like 3-4 hours. And one of the biggest highlights of that kirtan was to see what can happen when people with the same intention get together and trying to connect with the divine within themselves. And so my realizations are 4 realizations that I would like to share with you. One is awareness is possible when we are in the heart. If we are not in the heart, true awareness is not accessible. And this was my observation yesterday. When we were chanting and dancing, and people were just calling out Gauranga, and Keshav sang a very traditional song that is very unique to a particular province in India called Bengal. There was a saint and a great personality by the name of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. He was considered a mad saint because he was so deeply in spiritual love that wherever he went and whatever he did, it was simply out of pure spiritual ecstasy. So this song, Keshav, you want to share this song with us?
I do, Kama.
Keshav, you ready? Sing that song to us. It was so nice. And everybody was beautifully enjoying this mantra.
You don't want to do call and response, just sing it.
Just sing it once or twice so people can hear what it sounds like.
Okay, anybody that knows it, join in. We all learned it last night. Bhaja Goranga Kaha Goranga Laha Gorangera Namare Jai Jana Goranga Bhaje Sayamara Pranare.
You hear that mantra before? Who has heard that mantra before?
Wow. Good.
Wow. Exceptional people have heard this mantra before, Diane. So this mantra is this great, incredible saint. He's going around and he's asking people, Bhaja Gauranga, worship Gauranga. Gauranga is this beautiful, golden, illuminated personality that is situated in the innermost chambers of our heart. It is the embodiment of that transcendental love. So this Nityananda Prabhu, this saint, he's going around, please, my dear brothers and sisters, chant Gauranga, fall in love, and Bhaja Gauranga, Kaha Gauranga, chant this mantra of spiritual love. And Laha Gauranga Namare means please accept this transcendental spiritual love in your heart. And he also says, this is the selfless quality of saints. Jai Jana Gauranga Bhaje. Jai means one who. Gauranga, that transcendental loving form within the heart. Bhaje worships one who worships that transcendental love. That person becomes my life. Imagine the saints, all they want us to do is fall in love with the divine in our heart. And when we do that, we get a place in the hearts of the sages. This is the secret. You want to know how to enter someone's heart? In the material world, when we want to enter someone's heart, what do? We buy them an Apple Watch. We buy them a gym membership. We take them out to dinner. We buy them clothes. And we do all kinds of things to hopefully get a place in their hearts. But this sage is saying, no, no, no. You want to be in my heart? All you have to do is surrender and accept this divine love in your heart. And when you do that, you become my life. I accept you in my heart. So this is the mantra that we were chanting yesterday, one of the mantras. And you could see people were just like, it's really nice. It's incredible ambience of chanting these mantras. So this awareness that I'm speaking about is possible when we are in the heart. And through this awareness, we are able to connect with the divine and with all beings and sages. The second realization is spiritual union is possible through divine sounds. Yesterday, when we were doing our kirtan, it was so ecstatic. People were dancing. Imagine, I was wondering that the floor might collapse or something. 70 people dancing in spiritual ecstasy. And there were no shapes, colors, shades, nothing existed. It was everybody in such beautiful, self-expressive, in their own way, chanting and dancing to this mantra that I was singing is Nitai Gauranga Gaura Hari. This was the mantra. Gaura 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 Hari. Nitai Gauranga Gaura Hari. And so we were dancing and everybody just broke out into spiritual perspirations. They were all, you could see the little sweat pearls coming from their faces and they just danced. And it was the most beautiful thing to watch. And that was possible. That was possible because the sound, it needs the spiritual sounds. The spiritual sound is what unites us. When we look at the world, you will see when there's, clubs or whatever people go to that I have never experienced before, but I've been told. The energy there is very intense. Everyone is looking at other people to see how they can possibly, subconsciously think of how to enjoy the other person. And then they're so, their consciousness is somewhat altered due to external intake of stimulants, that they lose all inhibitions. But if you look at this spiritual sound vibration, kirtan, people lost everything because they were all connected to this divine sound in their heart. So this union is another thing that I observed yesterday. And through that observation, I realized, as I was chanting and dancing with them, I realized this practice of bhakti is not a practice of transformation. It is a practice of self-discovery. It's becoming you. Everybody was chanting and dancing. They were just being themselves. No one was thinking, what do I look like? Does my makeup look okay? Is my mascara coming off? Like no one had any of those thoughts. Everyone kind of left their material existence behind, and they were just being themselves, being in spiritual love. And this is my observation from yesterday. So, observation 3. I don't know, those of you who were with me yesterday, please feel free to correct me. My third observation is, in this practice of bhakti, we don't push. We never push anyone, because that is not our business. Our business is to see how to lift people. And lifting people is something that is possible when we are in our hearts. When you want to pull people, you have to pull them in. And so therefore, you'll notice in bhakti that our objective is to be in the heart and pull each other from our hearts. When we try to convince someone mentally or emotionally and try to make them do something, it will last not very long. Because the real power, the real source of strength, the real energy that can pull anyone in any direction is when we are truly pulling them from our hearts. And this was my third meditation, because I was so enlivened with the ecstatic kirtan that I could see when she was singing Bhaja Gauranga, and then Nirvana led this Maha Mantra that it came to her. She said she was just sitting with the harmonium and this melody came to her, and she's not, Nirvana, are you on? Okay, she's not on. Otherwise I would ask her to sing. It's a very beautiful, sweet melody. And you could see people were just drawn. Their hearts were being pulled. Their hearts were pulling their minds into the center of their existence. So this was my realizations from yesterday's events. And one thing that I felt very strongly is that this divine connection sometimes that we often think it's somewhere out there, it's somewhere up in the clouds, is actually true, but also not true. What do I mean by that? The divine is all pervasive, and he is our dearmost companion in life. There is no one in our life that is so dear to us than the divine. Why? Because it is sitting in our heart with us. And we don't have to go very far. We don't have to go anywhere. We could just sit in some yoga studio and the divine appears from our hearts. So he, she, they is the closest to us. And this was an experience that I felt yesterday in the kirtan. It was phenomenal, the events yesterday. So I see Radha Priti, she's taking notes. So those were my sharings for the day, my realizations from yesterday's events here in Connecticut. Radha Priti, you want to share something with us? I see her on camera. That means I can pick up.
I should have taken myself off camera when I was taking notes. No, I mean, those were really lovely realizations. It was funny when you mentioned the club. You know, I've actually done the whole club thing for a very, very short time. I tried it on looking for some fulfillment. And it's funny, you know, when you reach for those kinds of things, it's so opposite of spiritual life because we're looking to like almost like numb out as opposed to like fill up. We're looking to like numb out and then fill that void with like something very temporary, like some kind of attention from the opposite sex or something that like lasts a very short time and then ends up just kind of like not like bringing you down, like not bringing you higher. And spiritual life is like so wonderful because what you're chanting or you're the association of devotees or it like actually fills you up from the core. And I found that to be, it's just such a different experience.
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
yeah, you went mute for a second.
Okay. I was just reading this book about it from this spiritual teacher that I've kind of come to like respect quite a bit. And somebody asked him a question like, what do you do when you have material lust? And he said, eat half as much and chant twice as much. And I felt like that's a pretty good answer, you know, because we've like trained ourselves to reach for these quick fixes, these like facades of things that will fill us up, make us feel fulfilled. And they just don't. And oftentimes they lead us down to lower states of consciousness, or like in the case of overeating, like disease, or, you know, they inhibit us in some ways. But in spiritual life, you never get that. It's like the more that you do, the more full that you feel, and the more that you have to offer other people. And it's just like the polarity of the two. It's really wonderful to think about and inspiring to think about.
Thank you, Radha. I also wanted to share one more realizations, actually.
Yeah.
And this realization is, you know, the divine, the creator, has various different moods, just like we have all these different moods. Sometimes we're upset, sometimes we may be angry, sometimes we're sad, sometimes we're disappointed. We have various different moods. And it's altered by our relationship with the outside world. But I remember, as you were speaking, that this divine, the divine being, the divine creator, his permanent spiritual mood is pure, unconditional love. He's not, the creation is a separate mood. You know, like he's provided everything in this world for us. That's a different mood. Taking care of us, different mood. But the actual continuous, constant mood of the divine is pure, eternal spiritual love. Like that's all the divine is constantly in that spiritual mood. So this is something that I often think. It's like whenever I pray to God, I'm like, please, you know, I'm having difficulties, help me out. That's my mood, right? But the divine mood is like, I just want to love you. I'm like, no, you need to help me out. I'm having a tough time. But he's like, I just want to love you. And I'm like, no, but I need this from you. But he's like, no, I just want to love you. And you're like, but you know, the guy's really annoying. I just, you know, I need you to like get my back. So this interesting exchange that we have with our creator in our different perspectives, in our different needs, moments of needs and moments of despair, is beautiful to connect with the divine, but his mood is he just wants to love. And that was something that strikes me quite hard all the time, that the real essence of life is just to know that we are loved. And that's all the divine wants us to feel, that we are always loved. And the reality sometimes in the mature world, is we don't feel that love. Why is it that we don't feel that love? That is, I think that's something that we all have to work through, to realize that all we are looking for is love, and all the divine is ready to give us is love, pure love. So somehow we need to make that connection that we are seeking love and he's waiting to just love you. And within that spiritual love, there is everything. There's nothing that is non-existent in that love, because everything is available in that love. So this is the practice of bhakti. Okay, I also wanted to, we have Drew online. He's made this incredible video that he shared with me yesterday. And I was hoping that he could share that video with all of you so you could see his incredible artistry. He's an actor, he's a producer, he's also a director. And Drew, are you on?
Yeah, Veda, let me see if I can share the screen and share the video.
He made this really, really cool video you guys have to watch. It's about our trip to India that we had this year.
You can see the screen?
We can see your Zoom screen.
Okay, 1 second. You can see the video?
Yeah, no audio though.
Audio now?
No.
No audio?
Welcome you, beautiful soul.
No audio?
Now we can hear it.
Okay.
No audio.
I welcome you, beautiful souls, to a
Oh, there it
divine
is.
journey of the heart and souls. Join me for an extraordinary 11-day pilgrimage to the sacred realms of Rishikesh and the city of eternal love, Vrindavan, in the mystical land of India. In the embrace of Ganga's flowing grace, playful love of Lord Krishna, we embark on a soul-stirring odyssey to awaken the divinity within. Rishikesh, the birthplace of saints and sages, beckons us with his tranquil beauty and timeless wisdom. Vrindavan, where every particle dances in the rhythm of the divine love, invites us to experience the ecstasy of devotion. Together, let us delve into the depths of meditation and yoga, unlock the hidden treasures of peace and joy within. In the sacred ambience of Rishikesh and Vrindavan, every breath becomes a prayer, and every step a dance of joy. With this journey, it's not just about personal transformation. It is about communion and celebration in the company of fellow seekers. Let us bask in the light of shared wisdom and uplift each other with the warmth of our hearts. In Rishikesh and Vrindavan, the veils between the material and the divine very thin, inviting us to witness miracles and embrace the magic of existence. With every ritual and every chant, we deepen our connection with the divine presence that resides within and around us. Beautiful souls, join me on this sacred journey to Rishikesh and Vrindavan, where the melody of the soul meets the symphony of creation. Let us walk hand in hand, hearts overflowing with love and gratitude as we surrender to the divine grace that guides us home.
Thank you, Drew. Let's give it up for Drew. He did a great job.
Sure, yeah, thanks. And we also had an amazing team, Nashrima and Akash, and could not have done that without them. And I was super pleased to have them be a part of it. They did an awesome job. So we had two other two other camera guys helping me out. It was great, and I had the opportunity to direct them, and yeah, we got some good stuff. So thank you.
So Drew, you know, by profession, he's an actor, he's a director, he's a producer. And so when he came on this trip to India, he was just like in this, he had this multiple moods. He was like a director at sometimes, producer at sometimes, and sometimes you just get very deep into his spiritual bhav, the mood of the place. It's incredible, incredible person and incredible video. Thank you, Drew.
Thank you, Veda.
Okay, Balaram, you had something you wanted to share. Are you there, Balaram? Okay, Balaram's not on.
Veda, is Drew gonna share that video on the thread or something? Because I noticed, I think I've seen it before, and there was like really nice music that I don't feel like came through in this.
Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna share it on the thread, and then I'm also making a longer version for those that were on the retreat that we'll share as well. So we'll share it on the WhatsApp group. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Okay, cool.
I'll share that after this, and then I'm also gonna make a longer, like 6-minute version, and then I'll make a longer one later with some more dialogue and such. So
Amazing. Thank you.
we'll share it. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, is Balaram on? Okay, since he's not on, I would like you to hear Drew share his heart with you about his experience yesterday. I mean, Luke, sorry. You can see him. I think he's driving to Fruitful Lives, maybe.
I'm here, guys. Can you guys all hear me? Awesome. Yeah, so we had the pleasure of having our beautiful teacher, Veda, lead us in a ecstatic kirtan last night. And it's just so cool because kirtan is the only thing that it really pulls you into your heart, and it helps purify just many things that might be covering up your heart. So anytime you partake in that practice with people, you just immediately feel all the love, not just in your own heart, but all around you. And you get to unify with other people's hearts. So it's such a great experience. And we had such a blast. And I'm just so thankful. One of the things that I took away, though, so he had led in the very beginning, he talks about we were just getting in tune with our breath, the inhale and the exhale. And he mentioned that between the inhale and the exhale, just that subtle pause, that's what true yoga is. And that was the first time I had heard that. And it really resonated because it's in that silence right there. That's how we connect with the divine. Our breath immediately ties us into the present moment, which within that present moment, we have access to just unconditional love, which with the mind, many people get caught up in the past or the future. But when we connect to the breath, when we connect to singing, it immediately allows us to be fully present to the moment, fully aware of the moment. It allows us to embody, our divinity and our presence. And so just meditating on that, I was really touched by it, because not too many times we really are aware of our breath, or we focus on it, and we spend all of our attention, we send it inwards to our body and to our hearts, and to the beat of our heart. He had also mentioned just how the drum in kirtan, this is the first time I heard this also, which was really cool. It makes up the heartbeat of the music of the session, and that's directly in unison with our heartbeats. So when we do kirtan and we're drumming and we're clapping and we're singing, we're basically connecting our whole body with this universal transcendental love. And it's just so powerful. It's so beautiful. And so we're just thankful to be a part of it. And I just can't wait to continue to do more with everyone. And we have some retreats in Connecticut, and then of course we have the India one coming up. And I would just employ anybody who hasn't done, you know, a big kirtan event or hasn't left the country to please come and join us on this journey, because it's something that no amount of money can ever put the price on what you'll receive when you go on a pilgrimage like this with surrounded other people who, you know, have nothing but love in their hearts to share. And so it really is important to unify with each other and partake in this sangha.
Wow, Luke. I can guarantee you I didn't ask Luke to invite any of you to India. But I can tell that Luke's transformation that I have seen in him, and even when he was in India, I mean, he was a different person, and he is a different person. Because as I mentioned in one of our discussions, that your true potential is accessible, it is possible, and it is available to you, and you can see it in front of you and feel it when you go to these powerful places of spiritual energy, because it pulls it out of you. You know, like I remember seeing Ki in Vrindavan, in Rishikesh. You know, I'm used to seeing Ki, you know, this intelligent Georgia Tech student. He's a manager, programmers of other engineers. But in Vrindavan and Rishikesh, Ki was just like a different person. Programmer was gone. He's not a coder, he's not a programmer, he's not a manager. All his identities were just peeled off of him. I don't know if you noticed that, Ki. He was this guy who was just completely in the present. He was there. He was, you know, absorbing and taking it all in, and the joy in his face. I remember it was just so nice to see how all these layers are just naturally peeled off by the material energy, and we are able to experience that spiritual vibration where we can actually see our true potential. I don't know, Ki, you want to share anything?
Yeah, I definitely noticed that. A few other times in my life I've experienced something like that, but never sober and surrounded by so many like-minded people, you know.
Never sober.
Yeah, no, I was pretty heavily involved in clubbing and festivals and stuff like that when I was in college, and I found out very quickly that wasn't for me. I spent a lot of time alone before I met all of these crazy people. And now I can live that way without all of these drugs, and it's much more fulfilling. It's much more real. It lasts. I think the biggest thing for me was in that community with all of this intoxication, those people, in one moment they would feel one way, in another moment they would feel totally differently. And so you would think you had this deep, intimate, meaningful connection, and then tomorrow it's just gone. Like it never even happened. Half the time they don't even remember it, you know? And so, yeah, in India, I felt like I was able to just kind of be like a child. It was awesome.
Interesting. Thank you so much for sharing.
Mhm.
Okay. I know that Balaram was going to have some of you share. Do you know anyone he always gets into this meditation that someone's going to share their heart today with everyone else? Because it's the heart space. Okay. Anyone have any questions regarding this topics we shared, the realizations that I shared today, or anything related to the heart and the spiritual heart? Because I think that sometimes we forget that our heart has multiple layers. Most of us know at the heart as a physical object in our body that just like keeps working all the time and just pumping, and keeping us alive. That is, whenever we think of heart, that's what we think of. So in spirituality, we understand that that is only one aspect of the heart. And then the second aspect of the heart is to understand that the heart also has the ability to experience emotions. There's emotional chambers in the heart where, when you give someone that spiritual love, that unconditional love, and when that love is ever betrayed, or if that love is ever misunderstood or hurt, then that heart is affected. So that's the physical heart, and then there is the emotional heart. And then in yoga, we understand that there is this spiritual heart. Spiritual heart is, as I had mentioned in one of the examples, imagine you're living in a big, beautiful castle, and there's so many rooms in the castle. And in that one room of this beautiful castle, there is you, sitting in that beautiful castle. And sitting right next to you is the divine. So out of all these rooms that we have in the heart, the spiritual heart is everything that you are deeply appreciative of in your life, the deepest sense of gratitude that you have. Those are all the beautiful rooms. When you're in that constant awareness of the incredible gifts that we have, and how we have this deep individual relationship with the divine. And those are those unique rooms in our spiritual heart. You'll notice that there are people who have made such huge impacts in your life, and you remember them forever. And they opened you up, and they opened your heart and exposed you to your potential to experience spiritual love. And that is the spiritual heart we're talking about. And in yoga, they generally say, in the wisdom text, they generally explain that spiritual heart, it needs someone to unlock the doors. Sometimes we know that it's there, but we don't know how to open it. And that's when the Sangha that we are doing right now, that's when our teachers who are guiding us, that's what happens when we go to powerful spiritual energy vortexes in the world, such as places like Vrindavan, Rishikesh, and other spiritual places. So that is when, there's a knock on the door and those doors start to open. That spiritual heart starts to open, or a teacher comes knocking on your door. Hey, Diane, when was the last time you told yourself that I love you? We rarely tell ourselves that we are loved, that we love ourselves, and we love the divine within ourselves. Very rarely we do that. I don't know, maybe some of you do it all the time. I'm just guessing. I don't know anybody that actually takes the time to do that. And for us who are practicing bhakti yogis, we are encouraged to do this every single day. In the morning, we worship this beautiful goddess called Vrinda Devi. And she is the queen, the source of all nature. She's this beautiful tulasi plant. And we worship her and we pray to her that, my dear goddess, please give us access to that divine love. My dear goddess, please come into my heart and reside in my heart and help me open up this spiritual love in our hearts. Sanskrit, in Bengali, the song is in poetic Bengali. Nayane heribo sada jugal uparasi. That I will be able to see the divine spiritual couple with the eyes of my heart in my heart. Does that make sense? The eyes of the heart. Through the eyes of the heart, we will be able to see the transcendental divine couple in our heart. And that divine couple is this transcendental embodiment of spiritual love, both masculine and feminine. Some we say Radha Shyam, Radha Govinda. So this is the prayer that we make every single day, that somehow or other we'll have this access. So this is some ways that the sages have taught us how to practice our daily sadhana. How can we experience that spiritual love? Okay. Anybody has anything they would like to share? I don't want to put you on the spot, except for a few people that will tolerate me when I put them on the spot.
I can share real quick.
Yeah, please.
I just wanted to say, our kirtan. First of all, every time Veda comes to Connecticut, I say we're not going to overdo it, and we always book back to back to back events, and it's completely exhausting, but it's always well worth it. So of course, yesterday we had a ton of things going on, and then we had the kirtan, and it was really incredible to see so many new people, and to see how they really welcomed our community. It was really amazing. So Veda just has a way of really welcoming people and making them feel loved, really. I mean, you really could just feel the unconditional love at this event. It was really awesome. And it also was great because normally in a kirtan, you're kind of just sitting and, some people get up and dance, but I don't know, Veda has this way of doing things differently. So at the end, he just had us all up and dancing, and it was completely not a typical kirtan. It was really, really kind of interesting and amazing. But it reminded me of India, because you never know, like when you're spending time with Veda, you really don't know what you're going to get. And, it always ends up just incredible and like something you don't expect, but it's just completely amazing. So that was kind of the end of the kirtan. It just reminded me of India, and those of us who went to India, you all can kind of probably attest to this, that you really just don't know what you're going to get with Veda. And I know I don't want to really make another plug for India, but I didn't want to. But I mean, really, I highly recommend anything that we're doing. Just, you never know what you're going to get with Veda, and it's always incredible. So thank you for the kirtan and for everything, really.
I don't know. That seems like you don't know what you're going to get, so be careful.
It's always very welcome, though. And one more thing, too. For the retreat in July, the early bird ends on Wednesday. So anybody who was planning to join us in Connecticut, we have people from actually all over the world coming, so and the U.S. So would love to see more. So yeah, the early bird ends on Wednesday. If you definitely know you're coming, please join by then to take advantage of the special. That's it for me.
Okay. Anyone else would like to share anything?
Jai Gurudev. Hi, my name is Paula, and well, I just want to thank you for beautiful teachings, and also just share a thought, if I may.
Yes.
I've been in the path of yoga for quite a while, but recently I have been called to the path of bhakti. And something that you reminded me of today is the importance of having a guru and a teacher, because a lot of the times, we have this idea that we walk the path alone, and which ultimately, everything lies within ourselves. But it is so important to have a guru that will guide you. And as you said, they also have the key to open the door, and we don't have to do it all alone. So it's so important because it just helps us to surrender. So thank you.
Oh my God, Paula, that was very prophetic. I love it.
Thank you.
I remember when my guru was knocking on my heart and knock, 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 open. I'm like, no. Knock, 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 open, no. And I resisted this opening of my heart because my heart was betrayed at a young age, so I didn't want my heart to open. And I resisted my heart from opening. And also just having a very rigorous life of monasticity when growing up from the age of 5, I was like, no, I don't want any of this. So I resisted for many years. And finally I said, okay, go ahead. You want to see what's in my heart? Go ahead, open it. And then, this gush of gooey stuff comes out, And then finally you can see the lotus of a heart open. It explains that our heart energetically is in the shape of an 8-petal lotus. And the heart just opens up bigger and bigger and bigger. And then you see one day the lotus like fully blossoms like that, And that's where we belong. And so, thank you, Paula. That was beautiful. Okay.
Thank you.
Any other last thoughts? Anybody would like to share? Yes, Theodora.
Namaste, everyone. I have a question. Can you, Veda, feel how much the heart of someone is open? How much this lotus is open on someone? Or can you feel that?
Yes, it's you just be around them and you see how much love comes out of their hearts, and you can tell how much the heart is open. I don't think everyone in this world has experienced love, and you can tell when you look at you, when you hang out with your grandmother, you can see the love that she has in her heart, and it's very deep. And so, yes, it's for me, whenever I travel around, I just am, so awed by and humbled by the amount of love and care that I receive. I'm completely just always blown away how much love is there in this world. I cannot say that I've been anywhere where I'm not loved. And this is, I feel that if we open the lotus of our hearts, and anyone that can smell the fragrance of the lotus of your heart, please know that their hearts will also open. Because the love from the heart is a contagious, it is also the key that opens your heart. And that's what Paula was talking about, that you need a teacher to open your heart. Why can the teacher open their heart? Because their heart is already open. Because their heart is open, then they can open your heart. It's hard to open someone's heart if your heart is not open. So if we try to go open others' hearts, hey, you should just love everybody. But then you don't love yourself, or you don't love others, then the effect may not be there fully. So that's why it's important to have this deep personal spiritual sadhana, that we're constantly opening the lotus of our hearts. When the lotus blooms is when the moon rises. And during the day, you will not see lotuses open. They all stay closed. As soon as they feel the love of the moon rise, and the lotus starts to open more and more and more and more and more. And finally, when you go in the morning, you see fully opened up beautiful lotus flowers. I know this because I used to make garlands with lotus flowers, and I used to go pick lotus flowers. And you have to go in the morning, and the lotuses are fully open. And so, yeah, that's my experience. Thank you, Theodora. Okay, so grateful to each and every one of you for joining us. And Kamania, would you like to share anything? I'm sorry, I just see you now. She's a beautiful soul, and the
I was
Alps of
just sending you a heart on my screen and you saw it. You know, I was appreciating your realizations at the beginning. One of the things you said was that we can't push anybody. And I was remembering how when I first came to my bhakti path, some, I don't know, 20 years ago, I lost track. And I remember the irresistible pull that I felt to bhakti practitioners. And as you were speaking, many of them were coming to my mind. For example, Vish, who was your guest last week. And yeah, I'm so grateful to know so many bhakti practitioners who are just so authentic in their practice and authentically joyful in their practice, pushing nothing, just living their bhakti. And that was so irresistible for me that I couldn't help but be pulled. So I was just remembering as you were speaking, so many bhakti magnets. And you know, some things I was a little skeptical of in the early days, but the practitioners and the kirtan, I absolutely could not resist. And that's my great fortune, because I don't know where I would be today otherwise. And it's just so beautiful. I so much appreciate how you share the bhakti teachings, that if we are joyful in our practice, it will naturally spread. You know, like Hafiz talks about the contagion of love, of the love virus. And that's really been my experience. So if we can just become joyful in our bhakti, in our daily practice, then perhaps we will be able to just naturally radiate the gifts that we've been given by those who have shone their light on us. And then maybe we'll have little brothers and sisters wanting to jump along for the ride, and that's just how it works. So thank you for your realization. I was also remembering how in Vrindavan, my favorite kamaniya is the kamaniya in Vrindavan. Because when Kamani is in Vrindavan, she's so relaxed. She has no need to control anything, no need to know what's happening in half an hour. And actually, if you step back and look at it through a material eye, it can be quite a chaotic place. But what really struck me in Vrindavan was I have never felt so relaxed anywhere, in any yoga class, in any shavasana. I've never felt so relaxed as I have felt in Vrindavan. Just absolute feeling of being present and being grateful and being curious to see what's around the next corner, because there's always magic at every step in Vrindavan. So thank you for taking me to Vrindavan by talking about it.
That was so nice.
Hare Krishna. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna, thank you. They say that in Vrindavan, the Sushumna Nadi, not Ida and Pingala, Sushumna Nadi is fully open. That's what Vrindavan is. So I'll leave you with that thought. Thank you all so much for your wonderful hearts. Please let us stay connected. Let us bring more and more hearts to the center of their hearts.